So welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of our kind of intro episode of Season 4, the revamp of the podcast.
The revamp.
And we'll be talking about that, just that today.
Mm-hmm.
Revamp. Kind of what we're planning, what's new, what's different, but also what's the same as well. So.
Yeah, I think we're going to be talking a lot about the actual show and maybe like what we want to do moving forward with the direction of it and the format and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I guess kind of the first thing is maybe mediums. So like, podcasting has kind of changed a lot since we've left, honestly. Like
Since we started, yeah.
Yeah. We used to use Anchor, but apparently Anchor is Spotify now, which is interesting.
We learned that like an hour ago or 2
Yeah.
hours ago.
But actually, when we looked, it seems like Spotify is actually where most of you listen to the podcast, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're glad. That seems to be one of the best platforms anyway. So I think we plan to do Spotify and YouTube for our episodes. So I think that'll be good with that.
Yeah, and I think we're going to stick, for now at least, to like in person, like Henry and I are doing right here. Because we've done it a couple times with the other seasons, like in the field or just in person with people. But I think this time we're actually going to do only that just because of audio quality.
Yeah.
First and foremost, because we have this nice studio around us that you probably can't see, but it's nice.
And like we talked about in the last episode, we're both in the same city now. I'm gone for the summers usually, but besides that, we're pretty much in the same place.
Yeah.
And this is a nice studio available to us, so you'll probably see some variation of this quite often. So it should allow us. Online recording is it's convenient, but it can have some major struggles with Wi-Fi and whatnot. So being in person allows us to kind of work through technical issues together, and then I don't know. It's easier to riff off the other person. I've already noticed, like with our first episode, we've like talked over one another like way less. Like that was one of our rampant problems.
Yeah, when all you hear is another voice, it's like so easy to just kind of ramble on. And I don't think it's like purposeful, of course, but like we just don't know when the other's done speaking.
Yeah.
Like you don't get the visual cues and the subtleties like that.
And it's not too bad when it's just us two, because obviously we're like friends and everything, and we laugh at each other all the time. But with guests, it's like it's kind of hard when you talk over a guest and then you feel bad.
And there was like I know we're talking about the future, but like looking back on like the guest episodes, as great as they were, there was so much pressure. Like a crazy amount. At least we both had pressure on ourselves to like produce the best episodes, especially with like the real deal like professionals. Like I don't want to waste their time.
Yeah.
And they were all great people.
Because a lot of them,
very easygoing.
They usually charge for speaking engagements, and all of our guests did it for completely free.
Really just publicity.
Yeah, I want to thank all the guests again if they're listening. Like that was a great way. I was probably 2-3 years into photography at that point, so they kind of helped introduce me to the world. I thought it was great, but like you said, it is hard and a lot of pressure. Like when you literally look up to some of these people, like you don't want to mess up, and sometimes if you don't want to mess up, you end up messing up more. So
it's self-imposed pressure, I'll say that. Like it's more about like we wanted to just produce the best episode possible. Always have and always will, I think. But like when you have someone else there, it's just like it's on, Yeah. Like he said, it's like when it's just us just talking or riffing on each other, that's fine. Like it's easier to make mistakes and laugh about it. But when you have a guest, it's just all hands on deck. You want to ask good questions. You want to have a good conversation. You want to make sure you get all like the talking points and everything like that.
So I guess like going on from that, we're going to make the transition to pretty much just the two of us episods. And, the podcast started like that. We would have just kind of a set topic. We kind of talk for the evening about that. And we've had episodes like that throughout our 3 seasons. Like, there's plenty of those. And honestly, like, that's my favorites. And I know you said those are your favorites too. Just because I think we have really great chemistry. Like we talk together really well, and we have similar humor styles and stuff. So yeah,
we spend enough time around each other,
Uh-huh.
like both shooting and just in general talking and interacting, that like it's easy, which is good.
Like many 6-hour drives and stuff like that.
Sleeping in the
and,
same car.
Yeah, exactly.
just to do photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get really used to people when you do that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I totally agree. It's my mind's blanking, but yeah, it's just like it's nice to have that comfortableness, I guess. But there's still a lot to talk about, like beyond the break, like our first episode coming back. Like, there's still gonna be so much that we're both doing with each other and without that we can talk about and share on the show.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not sure honestly, like when we first met, if that could happen as easily, but like
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, but like now we're both so into like what we're doing again, especially. But like I feel like we could both just like hit record and just talk for 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah,
easily almost.
It's almost like when we started, like I was pretty much entirely based down in Kentucky and he was based up in Dayton. So like now, now even if we're doing something separately, we both know kind of what we're talking, like we know the area, if that makes sense. Like we're both familiar with each other's like territory. So I guess like not territory, but you know what I mean.
Area.
Like, too many bird terms on my mind, but we're in prairie warbler territory this morning. But we're familiar with each other's like stuff more. So like, and we know more about each other's lives, so it makes it easier to kind of ask questions. And
do you mean stuff as in like how we shoot, or just us as people?
Kind of both, honestly. I think knowing the person better really makes for a better like one-on-one podcast. Versus like guests in the beginning, it was easier not knowing each other super well because we were mostly focused on the guests.
It also like it's fine, but it didn't help that like we didn't meet in person for like over a year or something.
Yeah.
So I was literally like in my head like I'm recording this show. I've never met this guy before, like in person. I've only talked to him in like a video call or audio and messages, and I'm assuming he's a good guy, and he is. This guy's good. But, like, it was just kind of funny to be like, how am I going to, like, when are we going to meet? Like, actually. And it took so long.
I guess to give a timeline, we started July 2020, and then we met up. I mean, obviously there was COVID in there. I was still learning to drive at first. I couldn't drive on my own when we started the podcast. We met up December 2021, so a whole year and almost a year and a half.
Year and a half, he said.
Yeah, almost a year and a half later.
Yeah. And so, it's just been, I don't even know where I'm going at with this. Yeah, segueing actually into that, I feel like with the show now, because it was so formulated, like we just kind of nailed down how it was in the first 3 seasons. I feel like in this 4th one, we're going to do a little bit more conversational approach. Yeah. And maybe just, you could say it's out of laziness. I think it's just more like we just want to keep it natural, keep it real maybe.
I wouldn't say it's laziness. It's more like we're, with our time, the amount of time we have available now, we want to produce the best quality show we can. And I think by not having a topic, we're able to devote more time to post-production and making sure we have a good product rather than like pre-planning, if that makes sense. Product.
Ew,
I sound like a...
I know.
I'm a business major.
And on the next topic, we're trying to not make this like a full-time endeavor. And so we're actually, as we mentioned, I think on the first episode, we were doing like weekly uploads for many months in the first few seasons. But now I think we're going to be doing it monthly, and we're going to release it on the first Tuesday of every month.
At 1 p.m., just like tradition. Yeah.
And so that's literally going to be one episode a month, and I think based on both of our lives and schedules right now, we're still obviously busy people and stuff, and I think it's what we're both committed and agreed to, and so that should work out pretty well. But
it's like it's a reasonable, like we could probably do more if we really stretched, but there's no point in burning out again over, like we want to make this fun. We don't want to make this like a job, and I think last time towards the end, just with all the guests, like we had weeks where we had 4 or 5 guests, and obviously you don't record that week, so sometimes there'd be a week where we have, maybe, I don't really remember, but maybe 3 recordings in 1 week, and that adds up. And I know we even had back-to-back recordings sometimes. Like,
And trying to like schedule that between everything else we had going on in our own lives, and like trying to work with these people, which are obviously like they're adults. They have a lot of them have families. A lot of them have workshops. They're traveling. They got their own things on it.
And things come up sometimes.
Illness.
Too.
Yeah. I mean, like family members or family issues. And so like it's amazing what we accomplished in those couple years. Like just all the work we put into it.
We're super proud. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's terrible. Like, more sort of the earliest stuff of us, but like...
If you want to laugh, go back to the first episode.
And see how much we've grown, hopefully. Yeah, but looking forward, it's just exciting to like get back to it and having conversations again and doing that. I don't think we're going to rule out never having guests ever again. Like, it's definitely going to be like this kind of format or setup where it's going to be like in person maybe.
Yeah, I think it'll be more like familiar guests. And we've had some of those, of course, too, but I think we'll keep it to like people we know personally, we've met in person, and we'll probably have them right in here with us or out in the field with us. So
Right, yeah. And that was another thing with doing the guests is like sometimes they were like complete strangers, let's be honest. We literally had like maybe a pre-recording phone call together for if we're lucky, and so and it's like that's fine, like it's an open book, but like sometimes it's tough to like think of questions like if you only know a name and a face, and so like it's nice to kind of have like Henry said, like have friends on or have previous guests on that we maybe like are more familiar with, so like I think it'll just overall be like a much better podcast as a result.
And I think if we continue to do it weekly, we probably wouldn't have enough to talk about because you and I we don't shoot as much as we used to. So giving that month time span. Giving that month time span will allow us to kind of have more content. I'm sounding like an influencer.
We're trying to stay away from that.
Exactly. We are not influencers. No, but I guess kind of another format thing is we're going to try out video for a while. We started with video. It's not totally foreign. We've definitely done many episodes with video cameras on. But I think it'll help to show some images. Like, I know we did slideshows for a long time, but a lot of the time the images would not relate to the content at all.
Yeah, we looked back on a few episodes recently and we're like, no, there's like, I mean, one example, I think, we were like, you clicked on the long exposures episode. I don't remember the number, so just search long exposures.
Yeah, it was pretty early, I think.
Yeah, it was an earlier one. It was just me and Henry. And like half of the photos weren't even long exposures.
Like one was like a plant in my grandma's backyard. Like how is that a long exposure?
One was a bird on a perched on a branch. It was like there's nothing like moving necessarily in that photo. Nothing's long exposure. It's like. So I'm like, I was like...
it was probably 1/1000th of a second. Like, the complete opposite.
The opposite, yeah. So it was like, you have to be, humble, I guess. But like, we were having a good laugh at some of the early stuff of like, what was our thought process? I don't know.
I think we were having a great time.
Oh, no, yeah. We're no doubt about it. But like, I think we're also like, with the weekly stuff, such in a hurry to like push it out there and keep it consistent. Because I remember back then I would say, consistency is key. And so, like, maybe the quality kind of suffered a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we had to push out unique images every week, and I didn't have the largest library back then of it. Like, now I got so many images, but back then it was like my best work was like few and far between back then. But
how do you feel about like back like when we're doing the first podcast iteration, like compared to now? Like, I feel like I'm like less prolific. Like, I don't take as many images. And, like, good ones. Like, ones I'm happy with. Like, how do you feel about that with your work?
I've thought about that same thing. I think I'm more picky. Like, back then, my work at the beginning of the podcast was just not the best. Like, it's just me being hard on myself.
It's growth. Yeah.
It's growth.
It's not a bad thing.
Nowadays, I'm just, I'm way more picky. I'm ultra picky. Like, if the birds turned like this and not facing the camera, it's deleted. Like, that's just how I am now. But I think that's improved my work. So
yeah. I mean, I think it's like you realize time is valuable.
Yeah.
Too. And like, I'm the same way where I'm like, if the image is like less than okay, like even if it's just okay, like I'm probably not going to edit it.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to delete it. Like, I don't want to house millions of okay raw files.
Storage is expensive. Like, that's...
Well, it's gotten cheaper, but still, at the end of the day, if you want like a good solution to backup and stuff, yeah, it will cost a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Or those NOS systems. So,
Yeah. Like those redundant backup things.
Yeah, the big like ports you put on there. I don't know. I don't know that stuff really well, but so like it's just a whole lot of time invested into that. So like, and it's for me at least, it starts in the field. It starts with, and I know like I've kind of influenced you with like shooting like subjects, is that like I only press the trigger, the shutter that is, if I'm like for sure about it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's not always going to be a great image, but like in that moment I'm like, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
So like I'm not like...
Yeah, you've really helped me with that. Like,
and I've only gotten more stringent about that, or more strict. Like, I literally will only press a shutter if I'm like, I wait for that bird, I'm honed in, I'm focused. If it doesn't, like you said, like if the head's turned the wrong way, I probably won't shoot it, but I'll keep it steady there and wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm only going to shoot that if like it gets the pose I want, or if it's like just right moment. I'm not going to stand there, especially if the bird's just sitting there. I'm not going to, just spray and pray for no good reason, really, because I don't want to sift through hundreds of raw files. I just don't care.
Yeah,
it's not worth it for me. That's just... Now, if it takes off, that's a different story. That's a quick movement.
Then spray and pray, definitely.
Yeah, a little bit more so, but it's like if it's just sitting there, like, dude, like take your time and take a few images and
move around and get a different background.
Yeah. And this is stuff I've also observed in others, like. Maybe like they do that kind of thing, and it's just it's a little hilarious to me that happens,
especially at Biggest Week, because that's got a large concentration of photographers, and you'll see people they're just, I mean, good for them, they're shooting, but they're just spraying and praying.
It barely even like moves at all, and they're like, whoa, like reacting so, in my opinion, like overreacting to it.
But I think we've all been there, and that's the beauty of it. Like, everybody's on their journey, and some people will always shoot like that, and that's cool too. But
I mean,
I guess I kind of do what you do, but I do that more on the computer. Like, I'll shoot it. I don't shoot as much as I used to in the camera, but I'll shoot a bunch on the camera, but I'll quickly delete 99%. That's just, I've got like a workflow down. Like, I keyword and I delete, and I've really got that down, and that's kind of helped me. I don't edit right away, but I always kind of cull through within the week, not on the day, but within the week, and that kind of allows me to. I feel like you're culling at a different. You kind of do it in camera. I kind of do it on computer.
Really?
Well, it's kind of a bit of both.
I mean, for me at least, I like delete. Like, obviously, like, bad images. Like, okay, I moved the camera, it's so blurry, and I didn't mean it to be. I'll delete that outright on the camera, but, like...
Yeah.
Even if something's, like, okay or whatever, I mean, like, I'll keep it, but then I'll probably delete it on the computer.
Yeah.
Like, once I get a zoomed-in, closer look, I'll do it then, I guess.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But, I don't know, it just depends, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if it's obviously, like, not what I intended, then I will delete it. But if it's, like, could be good, could be bad.
Yeah.
I could blow it up on the computer and be like, this is atrocious, and then delete it, or keep it, or edit, whatever. But it just depends.
Yeah.
I would say.
For sure.
Depends. Yeah. So many variables
involved.
I'm
sure we'll definitely talk about this more in future episodes as well as we go on. I guess it might be helpful, at least with the next couple months, we can kind of give them a preview of what's next, like kind of what episodes we're thinking next. So I guess the next, we're getting really close to our Biggest Week trip here. What did we say, one for that? Probably one podcast, we're thinking?
I mean, we'll see, honestly. I mean, Biggest Week's
Depends.
Biggest Week.
Yeah.
So, like, we could easily do one big episode or two big episodes. I mean, like, it's like, it really just depends.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean, we could both talk ad nauseum about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. And, we might like do, like I said, one big episode or break it up into two parts.
Yeah, just like we did with this one. So
yeah, just depends really.
And then we'll probably do one about Alaska once I'm back from that. But
and you're going when, so they know?
I'm going in June. Okay. But this episode you're watching now, I'll be getting ready to go to Alaska. because this is going to release in the beginning of June.
So this is April.
Or no.
We're in the future. This will be up.
Cut this part. This is wrong. I was wrong. Aren't we releasing the first one in June now? Didn't we say that? Okay.
This is July.
Okay, my bad. I will be in Alaska as this episode is released. And we're probably not going to record there because we want to kind of keep to that more in-person format. But other than that, when I'm back, I'll be in Cincinnati for most of the year, so we'll be able to record either in the field or in a space like this. So,
yeah. It's gonna be nice. Yeah, I mean, like besides that, it's like I think just doing the episodes once a month. I mean, obviously more content would be better, but like it's just what we can do. But I feel like it's gonna be nice to kind of like use that time to catch up with each other, talk about our stories in the field, talk about like maybe we can keep ideas of like questions to ask each other, like conversational topics.
And if there's audience questions that come in too, of course, like if anybody has anything, we'd love to answer those on the show. And
message us individually or the podcast stuff. Whatever you want.
Yeah, we're open books. We'll answer anything.
Yeah. And obviously, if you're interested in being on the podcast, like per what we said earlier, if you want to meet us up here or down here, wherever you're coming from, that'd be really cool. So
but obviously we'll want to kind of build a relationship first, shoot with you a bit, but
it'd be nice.
Love to have you on. Yeah,
sit down for some coffee or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, whatever it takes. But I mean, if you're seriously interested, I would just say the one rule is just to be here, like physically. Yeah. So we don't want to do the video remote stuff, at least right now.
Yeah.
And then probably from there, I mean, do you think live shows would be in our future?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Live streams or something.
Cool. Yeah, we got to get the technical stuff with that refined because I know we've had some issues with that in the past. But we could even live stream from a studio like this at some point. And
I was going to ask you, if you can live stream from here, that'd be really cool.
We totally could. Yeah,
that'd be really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, let us know how you think the quality is in here, but we've been impressed so far. So yeah.
Like I said, first time in here, so it's a whole new kind of experience, you know. So but it's been nice.
Yeah, I guess really the only other thing to talk about is just kind of our other social media. Like we'll be on Instagram still, but I mean, we've never really focused on that too heavily. I guess just kind of a secondary promotion thing.
Henry, what's your thoughts on Instagram in 2024?
Oh wow, that's a whole nother episode. I'd say pass, but I mean I'm still on it. But it's
if you follow my account, I don't know, for years I was good about it, but now I'm like I will throw up like 10, 20 images in a row, and then I'll quit for months.
That's okay.
I come in seasons. I'm like that now.
Yeah,
but
you come in portfolios. You post a portfolio, and then you
come back. I mean. The biggest week will be up by the end of the year. Yeah. Like, whatever photos I may get. And then it'll be good. But, yeah. Follow us on the socials.
We both have websites as well.
Are you still doing YouTube at all?
No.
Okay.
At one point, I was like, I'm going to come back. But now I just...
Too busy and all that?
Time priorities and just... I'm not really a video guy. Like...
Yeah.
I enjoy the photos more. Yeah.
It's all
good. True.
Yeah.
But,
I've been trying to double down on it again because I definitely have taken month-long breaks. And now that I spent so much time this past half a year, like just with the moving mentally and physically, just getting everything done and just other stuff in my life. But now I'm trying to like, since I'm now settled down here for now, is to do more video work on my YouTube. And that could be like just stuff like this, like just sit down and talk. I want to do more collaboration type stuff, like just have conversations with people or videos that are like with trips or stuff with other people. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
So if you're ever, anyone really, if you're interested in meeting up and doing that kind of stuff, that'd be really cool.
And you'll probably film Biggest Week a bit, I assume, right? Like,
I'll do, as tradition now, I think I'll do some kind of video aspect. I know the first year I did like a slew of on-location videos of like different places around there. And those are just on my own, after, like not with Henry. I don't think you were there for any of those.
Yeah, I think I'm in like the background of some, but
the McGee Marsh one. Because that was like the weird video where I just did like the GoPro on my head.
You know what's funny about that? If you look up McGee Marsh, your video comes up top now.
It is like, I think it's like almost 2,000 views.
Yeah.
It is like my most popular video because of its recognition, the name of it. And it's literally like a 14-minute video or something of me just like walking on the boardwalk. And you can kind of hear Henry and I just talking back and forth and other background ambient noise and bird songs. So like it was more about capturing the essence of it, I guess, the excitement. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here. But yeah, I'm trying to do more of the on-location stuff. Last year's biggest week, I did like a recap video that I recorded like that evening I got back or the next day or something. And I just talked about the trip overall, talked about us being there, talked about what birds I got, what photos, shared those. So that was a whole thing. But.
And I know you did a Fernald Preserve recently too, as well.
Yep.
On location. And we talked about that in the podcast. If you want to know what Fernald Preserve is all about.
First episode.
Yeah.
Coming back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when this comes out, it'll be months later. But yeah.
Yeah.
So there'll be more videos out. But yeah, that's one place that I've really enjoyed since moving down here to Cincinnati, or even before really. I'd go there a few times with Henry and on my own. But yeah, so on location stuff, trying to do those a little bit less than I'm used to. I want to do like the biggest rewarding locations, I guess, like the best photo opportunities. So like, I'm trying not to do everything, I guess. Mm-hmm. So just basically the best places.
Yeah, it's got to be hard to shoot at the same time.
It's stressful. I tell you what, and that's probably why I burned out so much. It's like I felt like anytime I went out, I had to make a video, and like I bet a lot of. We'll call them YouTubers. I bet a lot of them had that same issue or have it.
And I think what's nice about this podcast almost is like because we're only kind of doing it once a month, you can kind of reflect on your outings and then kind of summarize them a little bit in the podcast, which is cool. Like with a bit of a later perspective, maybe a couple weeks after you had your outing or whatever. Like that's definitely a cool medium to express that. So
yeah, definitely, I agree. It's nice kind of time to like reflect, I guess, more, and you feel like you're not really in a hurry as much.
Yeah.
Like I have to go out this week to get photos up for the next, or it's like we can really take our time and actually like, let's say, talk about cool experiences or neat photos we took.
I guess that's
like good, like higher quality, like the caliber, I guess.
I guess that's the thing I remember too. I would think like if it was just an episode with you or I would be like. Well, I haven't shot much. Like, what am I really going to talk about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was weeks where, like, I would be like, you have more to talk about than I do. I haven't done anything lately. Mm-hmm. And, like, it was just fine. But, like, it's like we're both the hosts.
What's great about a podcast is kind of a dual conversation. Like, it's cool to kind of, you know what I mean? Like, kind of.
Yeah. That first episode was a lot of, like, info dumping. Because it was like, let's talk about my side. And then Henry talks about his. But, like... I think moving forward, it's going to be nice to have that kind of back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, talk about how was Alaska? How was this place you went to? Like, talk more question-answer stuff, I guess, more. Exactly. So, yeah, that's going to be really, really nice.
Yeah.
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 I
think that's probably pretty good for this episode. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you for everyone that's ever listened and is still listening.
Feel free to email us, DM us, anything.
Please talk, like, just interact with us. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a public comment. Like, if you just want to message us and go like, "Cool episode, guys," or even if you have an idea for a topic, or I don't know,
anything really. Yeah.
If you have a cool birding spot, let us know.
Or you want to know some birding spots around Cincinnati.
Yeah. Or go, hey, this is thing. Yeah. I mean, we're kind of open to, I think, anything really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to see on the show or anything technical either, like if you think we need to raise our audio levels or something or anything like that, just let us know.
If you think we suck, just let us know.
Yeah.
And then don't listen to us.
We can take it. Yeah.
Don't even listen to us.
We've had some funny comments in the past. Like
we've tried.
Yeah.
We're still trying.
We're always trying.
We're still trying.
Yeah.
Life is a work in progress.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's what I've
learned.
So
is this podcast. Yeah. But we're glad to be back and super excited.
Okay. Have a good one, guys.
That was cheesy.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. That's great.